18 months ago, I found myself with an unexpected chunk of spare cash and decided I was going to do the responsible thing. Immediately blow the lot on something shiny. I ended up with a brand new PlayStation Vita and a copy of Uncharted Golden Abyss, which turned out to be awesome, so I was initially really happy with it. After a day or two, I was a trifle less impressed with the way the Vita sat in my hands. I have hands which are both enormous and somewhat arthritic, so holding the Vita in the strange grip I needed in order to use the sticks, not be constantly hitting the rear touchpad and still managing to hold the machine securely enough to avoid dropping it, ended up hurting quite a lot after a while. It's clearly designed for people with hands much smaller than I have, and despite buying a few more games in the following month and trying to play them more often, the limitations of my crappy thumbs just kept getting in the way and I just resigned myself to using it infrequently if at all. I decided that before I gave up entirely and sold my Vita, I'd have a look around for something that might help support it, and I came across the CTA Vita hand grip on Amazon. It was pretty cheap, so I thought I'd give it a bash. Damn, did it make a difference. The Vita now feels like an entirely different machine. In terms of dimensions, it feels a bit like holding an Xbox 360 controller, but with the PlayStation style stick layout. Compare the pictures of my hands when holding the Vita as Sony intended, and holding it when seated in the grip. It even looks more comfortable. Also note the position of my lower fingers. I'm not touching the rear pad at all. And let me tell you, accidental contact with the rear touchpad, seriously irritating in games. I spent the last 4 hours or so playing the hell out of Assassin's Creed Liberation, and there was really no painful effect on my thumbs. Normally after half an hour I'd have to take a quick break to rest the joints, but I felt like I could just keep going. But Alias, I hear you say, how firmly is the Vita held in the frame? I don't want it popping out if I'm moving around a bit. Well, concerned YouTuber, I invite you to have a look at this rather grainy footage of me shaking the living shit out of it. Not bad, I think you'll agree. That's not to say that everything is 100% perfect, but the niggles are pretty bloody minimal. I prefer a smooth plastic for controller handles, and these are rubbery, so they tend to get a bit hot, although it's not helping that I'm testing it in the Australian summer. On the plus side, they don't slip at all. You lose immediate access to the charging port and card slots, but frankly that's not an issue for me, especially given how fast it is to disconnect if I want to swap games. The only notable downside is that you can't use it while charging, but if you're running the battery dry, then it's probably time for a break anyway. I've read a few customer reviews saying that the power and volume buttons were kinda hard to press, but my giant fingers can manage it, so I doubt most people will have trouble. Ultimately, I'd describe it as an excellent purchase if you have a Vita and find it a bit uncomfortable to use. And in the event of a cosplay emergency, the grip would even make a reasonable improvised batarang. 5 out of 5 Christopher Lees.